On Roscoe and Halstead streets, there's a giant banner that was hung, and it says, it essentially is quoting Bruce Rauner when he says, as governor, I would veto it, and that's in reference to equal marriage, same-sex marriage. So they had a rally in advance of the Gay Pride Parade, just talking about how they are backing Pat Quinn. They're very angry with Bruce Rauner still and saying, you know, we remember what you said. We're not going to forget it. They were passing out little stickers that said no Bruce Rauner on them, essentially saying he failed to lead on this issue even though he's running for governor. Personally, we don't know. What he says when you ask him that is, I don't have a social agenda. He has flip-flopped a little bit on this. He initially was saying that it should go to a referendum, and this is before it was passed. It should go to referendum. Then after it was passed, before conservative groups said, I would veto it. Then later, even more recently, he made something like, he said, I think it should remain the law of the land because it is the law. However, if people were open to putting it on a ballot to repeal it, I would be open to that. And so all of this back and forth has really angered same-sex right activists and the LGBT community because they're saying, wait a minute, here we are fighting for our human rights. We think these are basic human rights. Why should this ever be a referendum question? And so he's gotten some backlash. And what's very interesting, I think, for this weekend is that this is one of the most popular parades in the city. There's going to be thousands of people there, and there's going to be a lot of anti-Rauner sentiment during the parade. Well, because he wants to be all things to all people. He needed to get through the primary, and to get through the Republican primary, you cannot say or it was his belief that you could not say you were for same-sex marriage. He felt that he needed the support of conservative groups. He now really needs a certain element of Democrats or independents to cross over in the general election. So he doesn't exactly want to go back to saying, well, I want to repeal it or I would veto it because it's not a referendum, because that little percentage that you might need to win in Cook County, which could be key here, might not cross over for you. So he's kind of wanting it both ways.